And with me today is Joan Milliman from the Roberts Rules Study Club. Their next meeting is going to be Saturday, the 14th. And today you're going to talk about it's the motion, how things are done, right? And making a motion and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're going back to the basics.
Okay.
We're going to talk about making in a formal setting. We've talked a little bit about informal, where people can talk a little longer
Yes.
and talk more than once. But in a formal setting, which is what we use at all of our board meetings, in order to get things done, everything actually starts with a motion. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to take a recess, you need a motion.
That's right.
If you want to spend $500,000 on the renovation of a building, you need a motion. So it's a motion is in a formal setting kind of sets what you're going to do. It sets the business. And it sets the goal, what we're going to talk about at that moment, and it's something to focus upon. If you just have a discussion willy-nilly, it can go on for hours.
Right.
And then make a motion, well, you've wasted an hour, which it could have been in the debate on the motion.
Right.
So how do you make a motion? Well, the chair recognizes someone. They either raise their hand, or in some cases they stand up, or they come to a microphone. And when you're recognized, you make it simple. You say, "I move that we take a break." That's it. You don't have to say, "I would like to make a motion to,"
Yes.
or "I want to move that," So don't waste words. This also applies to efficiency.
Yeah, yes.
This is followed by a second. Someone in the group.
And it has to be seconded, right?
It pretty much. Let me explain that, because it doesn't mean that the second is in agreement with you. It just means that the second agrees that action has to be taken.
Okay.
Now the action might be, to stop the action or to proceed. And sometimes the action, the immediate action, is the debate. But sometimes there's no debate needed. For example, if someone moves for adjournment, there's no debate. You're either going to adjourn or you're not. So
right.
Second, okay, how many wish to adjourn? How many do not? Go on with debate and so on. And what if there's no second? And in most cases, because we require a second, it's not always required. For example, if you're in a group of 4 and you're voting, and that's part of it, someone makes a motion, you don't actually need a motion, because you've got 1/4 of the entire group, 25%,
yes,
are in agreement to make this motion. But when you get in larger groups, it's important to have more than one person just kind of agree there should be some action taken. But if there's no second where the second's required, then the motion is not brought before the body. So the chair will call for a second if there's none.
Okay.
And if they hear none, they'll say, well, hearing none, because there's no second, the motion's not before us.
Okay.
You can't lay the motion on the floor to be talked about until the chair states it.
Okay. So, but you must have a second to move it on? Okay.
In our case, yes.
Right, yes. Okay.
In some committees, no, and some, where.
Okay.
But for us, for the boards, and for our committees, we need a second. So after the chair states the motion, it has been moved and seconded that X. Then the debate can begin. But if the chair does not state that motion, it's not on the floor. And sometimes our chairs forget to state the motion. So a motion, though, is not what's said by a member, but what is stated by the chair. For example, a member might move a resolution be tabled until the next board meeting. Well, the word tabled can't be specifically at a time. The chair knows this. So the chair will say, did you want to postpone until the next board meeting? And if the person says, yes, then the chair says it's been moved and seconded to postpone the resolution till the next board meeting.
Okay.
So he or she can correct make it a proper motion.
Okay.
And help the mover put in the right words, as it
Okay.
were. And also the word table is not debatable, but postpone is. So
Okay.
you can decide whether or not you want to postpone this and talk about it.
So explain that.
Okay.
Is table indefinite?
No, it's not indefinite, but it has to be taken from the table by another motion, and it has to be done within that same meeting or the next meeting, or
Okay.
it disappears. It has
Okay.
to be done all over again.
Okay.
Well, then the debate starts, or the discussion, and the first speaker on the debate is usually the maker of the motion. And a wise chair just knows this is the thing, so they ask so-and-so who made the motion, give us your
Okay.
remarks. And usually, they're in favor of the motion, so they speak
Yes.
to that. And then it alternates. They're supposed to alternate between pros and cons, those in favor and those against. And the chair does the best to make that happen. You can speak twice on a motion, provided everyone else has had a turn.
Okay.
No one can speak 3 times on a motion, ever. How long can you speak? Oh boy. In Robert's rules, it says you can speak 10 minutes. Now think about it.
Yeah.
But we usually limit it not by decision, but to 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
However, you can make a motion to limit debate for 2 minutes each.
Okay.
And that requires a vote and a 2/3 vote. So you can't just do it simple majority. And the reason for that is it interferes with someone's right to speak. Anytime something interferes with changes your right to speak, like calling for the question, that changes your right to speak.
Okay.
It requires a 2/3 vote. And nobody can speak against their own motion. However, before the chair states the motion, it's been moved and seconded that, and so on. Those are the key words. The maker can withdraw his or her motion,
Okay.
or actually change the wording of the motion. And that's okay until the speaker states it.
Okay.
It's a movable feast. How does the debate end? Well, someone might call for the question. Now again, by calling for the question, you're making a motion to stop debate.
Okay.
Therefore, it requires a 2/3 vote. But what usually happens is things slow down and the chair will say, is there any more debate? Hearing none. All those in favor.
Okay.
And all those opposed. And then the chair announces the result of the motion. Did it pass or fail? How many did it? What is the result of the motion? Are we going to spend $500,000 on the renovation of the new gym?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that sort of thing. And the motion is done if it was a favorable outcome.
Okay.
So that's kind of the basic how things get done in a formal meeting.
Yes. Okay. Now, this is something you're going to be talking about at your next meeting?
Right.
Okay. And that will be next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
September 14th.
Right.
9 o'clock at the Towers.
And Annie McCreary is going to be our speaker.
Oh, very good.
So we're
All
looking
right.
forward to it. Everybody come. We're
All right.
looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you,
you.
Joan. Good to
Thanks
see you
so
as
much.
always.
Thank you.
You take care, and we'll be right back.